Hi, everybody. This is BJ the Blogger, and I am back doing a podcast recording as well as doing a YouTube recording right now. I'm doing this totally different from how I normally do it. So essentially what's going to happen is everything that I post is going to be available both via podcast and through YouTube. And I'm doing it in this style just so I can, kill two birds with one stone and be able to post my content on multiple platforms because, YouTube pays the same way podcasting pays. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just have to make sure that I'm reaching as many people as possible. So I figured this was the best way to do it. So those of you that like listening to my podcast, you are still 1,000% welcome to continue using that platform. You will just also have the option to watch my YouTube recordings of these presentations as well. I like this style too, because it's going to be also like an actual presentation. It's not just going to be, me talking on me just talking to you guys. So that should be fun too. So just to kind of give you guys an update, because I know I've been a little MIA for the last, I want to say 2 weeks. So the reason for that was I realized that if I really wanted to get my coaching program done, I needed to just stop being so, bogged down with social media and trying to keep up with everybody and keep up with reels and keep up with posting and keep up with Twitter and all these different things. I realized that I really just needed to just stop what I was doing and get the program done. That way, as I'm like, providing my free content, if you guys are like, you know what, I really want to work with BJ, you'll already have a pathway to working with me versus me just continuing to put out content and being like, the program is coming. Like, it was just kind of getting annoying. So I took some time to just work on the things that I felt like I needed to work on. And all of that stuff is done. You have complete access to me at the present moment. If you are interested in working with me further, you can look at all that information on my website. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more at the end of this presentation / podcast / YouTube. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. But if you already know you are interested in working with me, then I'm going to put some more information about it in the show notes. But besides that, like, I've just been doing really well. I've just, been focusing on my health and focusing on my self-care and really just trying my best to get my confidence back. I've still been trying to figure that out ever since having the baby, and it's definitely a journey. So, I mean, I've been good. My beta clients, they just finished up their coaching. Some did last week. I have one more client that has one more coaching call to do, and then after that, I'm done with my beta. So I feel really, really good about that. But besides that, yeah, like everything with me is just going awesome. And I'm very excited to go through this presentation with you guys. So the presentation that we're going to do today is called Properly Communicating with the Universe. All right, so what does it mean to properly communicate with the universe? I mean, it can be whatever you imagine it to be, but for some people, it means, again, like the universe in general. Some people, it means their ancestors. It means, their spirit guides, their higher self, what have you. But what it really is communicating with something that is of a higher power or of a different dimension or a different power or whatever. So there's ways to do it properly and there's ways to not do it properly. But I know the biggest question that I get is, do I need to be a psychic to communicate with the universe? And the answer to that is a soft no, right? So by your definition of what a psychic is, no. you don't need to be a psychic in order to communicate with the universe. The reason why I say it's a soft no is because what a lot of us define as whatever a psychic is, everyone has those capabilities of quote unquote being a psychic. All you really need is to be self-aware of what's going on around you and how you're interacting with, nature and energy and the things that are going on around you, and patience. Because the messages are not always going to be clear. The messages are not always going to come at the time that you want. You aren't going to be able to control when these messages are going to appear inside of your life. So you need to have patience as well. But if you were really interested in becoming a psychic, again, quote unquote, a psychic, all you have to do is express interest in it. But I encourage everybody to be self-aware, and I encourage everybody to be patient. So therefore, I encourage everybody to be a little bit of a baby psychic. And the reason why I'm kind of like going through, the reason why I got this idea of doing like how to communicate with the universe and like how to properly do it is because I have a friend that basically told me that, things were going on around her and she couldn't really explain it. And she didn't think she was a psychic. She didn't think she was capable of being able to do these things and notice these things. And I told her, I was like, there isn't like a secret society of people that are just like born with the gift. Like, that's not how it works. Yes, there are some people that are better at tapping into energy. And it's just like there being some people that are born more athletic than other people. It's the same exact concept. It's just some people are a little bit more self-aware. Some people were brought up in a household where they were open to, metaphysical and esoteric ideas and things of that sort. So anytime they felt goosebumps or saw something that looked a little bit different or heard something or had a weird dream, they really tapped into that and they dug into that. And having that type of upbringing will obviously make you a little bit more self-aware of your surroundings. And I think that also it's about being patient and allowing for the messages to come to you. There's so many different ways that the universe, your ancestors, your higher self, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate with, there's a million different ways they can communicate with you. And I talk about this a little bit inside of my coaching program, but ultimately there's something called the clairs. I encourage you to do your own research on that, but CLAIR, that's how you spell clairs. And it's about being able to see, hear, feel, have inner knowing. All of these are you tapping into your senses at a more elevated level. And again, everybody has the ability to do that as long as you have, hearing that you can hear fine, then yes, you can hear messages from people or, your higher self or the universe, but are you paying attention? It's not going to look like it's not going to sound with the same level of clarity as if you call somebody on the phone and they're talking to you. It's not the same. It's going to be through messages that you hear on television, or when you're having a conversation with somebody and they say something and it makes the hairs on your arm stand up, or you're watching a movie and something happens and they say something that feels a little bit like it's for a message for you. Or you could be having a dream and you literally are in your dream talking to someone and they're saying something to you that you needed to hear. Those are some examples of ways that you can receive messages. So they're not as blatant as a lot of us expect it to be. But yeah, so what we're going to be talking about today are mistakes most people make when trying to communicate with the universe. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit of some different types of examples of ways that you can communicate with the universe as we go along the way. But I really want to guide you guys in terms of like, what are some things that you could be doing wrong that are keeping you from receiving messages. So the first thing is you're expecting obvious messages. So like I said, like it's not going to come in the form of clarity that you think it should come in terms of the 3D world. You have to understand that the dimension that we're operating in is not the same dimension that your ancestors are in, or the higher version of yourself is operating at. There it is, the communication is done a little bit differently, and most of the time the universe is going to be communicating to you in symbols and numbers, again, sounds, all of those different types of things. There's many ways that the universe can communicate with you, but they're not going to be as blatantly obvious as, messages that you receive in a text message, or when you're having a conversation with somebody and they're communicating something to you. The universe and your ancestors and your higher self are not going to communicate in that same fashion. So don't have those types of expectations. I think once you change your perspective and your expectation around what a message looks like and can sound like, then you're going to open yourself up to receiving more messages and more clearly. The second thing is having a lack of self-awareness. If you're operating in your life on autopilot, where you're not paying attention to the things that are going on around you, you're not taking time to be alone and be by yourself and being alone with your thoughts and allowing yourself to feel your body. Asking yourself, how am I feeling today? What does my body feel like? Am I tired? Am I awake? Am I happy? Not paying attention to the things that are going on around you in terms of, when people are having a conversation with you and you're just completely zoned out and you're not listening, or you're watching a movie and instead of you paying attention to the movie, you're distracted by your cell phone. Having self-awareness and having a zone of concentration is going to allow for you to be able to receive messages more clearly in an easier fashion. If you're constantly opening yourself up to distractions, going inside of wormholes and rabbit holes on social media, paying attention to everything that's going on around you besides what is going on within you, that's a surefire way in order for you to be completely oblivious to any messages that the universe is trying to communicate to you. I was watching a YouTube live from S.I. Lee Myers. He is a spiritualist on YouTube that I've been following for years. And he essentially was saying that you can talk to people and they can tell you what's going on with celebrities, what's going on in the news, what's going on in another country, who said what about this, who or what. They can tell you everything that is possible to tell you, like what's trending on social media. They can tell you everything about that, but they can't tell you anything about what their sole purpose is, or what life lesson did you come on this earth to complete. What are you even interested in? What do you even like? People can know everything about everything else and everybody else, but know nothing about themselves. And, that really spoke to me. Granted, I feel like I have a more heightened self-awareness in terms of who I am and my life purpose and my life lessons and things like that. But I know a lot of people that have no idea what they're doing here. No idea why they're on this planet. Why do they keep reincarnating? Have no clue. And being self-aware is more than self-care, and it's more than meditation and things like that. Being self-aware is really understanding, what is it that makes me tick? What does my shadow self look like? What do I look like when I am experiencing joy? You know what I mean? Like, that is what it means to be self-aware. And when you are completely lacking of self-awareness, then the universe is not going to be able to communicate to you and not going to be able to guide you inside of a direction if you have no idea where you're going. You know what I mean? So that is one other mistake. Another mistake is believing in coincidences. Listen, there is no such thing as a coincidence. Everything inside of life happens for a reason. When you go to school and somebody else has the same exact shirt on that you have on, or you go out somewhere and you run into somebody that you haven't seen in years, or things like that, things that people think are just like, oh my god, that what a coincidence. And it's like, no, it's not a coincidence. That is the universe trying to communicate something to you, which it could be something as simple as, look, I'm here. It could be something as simple as like, I'm just trying to get your attention. You know what I mean? And when you start paying attention to those signs and those symbols and those synchronicities, when you start paying more attention to those things, then the universe is going to be like, okay, so when I show her numbers, a sequence of numbers, she pays attention to that. So let me continue to communicate to her in that manner. Or, when I show her, when I bring somebody inside of her life that she hasn't seen in a long time, that was a message that she seemed to receive. So let me continue to communicate in that way. The universe is going to communicate in the best way that is possible in order to get your attention. But again, if you're not paying attention and you're just like, oh yeah, that's just a coincidence, then, the universe is not going to know what a good method is for it to communicate with you. You have to be almost like, I don't know. I know there's some people that are going to be like, oh, conspiracies, blah, blah, blah. Like, you sound crazy, whatever. And it's just like, okay, if you don't want to allow yourself to look a little bit weird and look a little bit crazy, then you're too cool for me. You just are. You're just a little too cool for BJ. But yeah, just allow yourself to be open to the possibility of there being miracles. Because if you see somebody that is wearing the same shirt as you and you don't see something as small as that as being a method of the universe trying to communicate to you, then why would the universe want to provide a miracle to you? Why would the universe want to create a situation that seems completely impossible if you're not even going to acknowledge the power of God consciousness? If you're not even going to acknowledge it, like what is the point? So you have to be open to everything happening for a reason. All right. And the last thing that I have in terms of mistakes that people make when trying to communicate with the universe is looking to others for the answers. Listen, all of the answers that you need about what is going on in your life and what needs to happen is within you. Everything that happens outside of you is a direct reflection of what is going on internally. So you don't even need me. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you have your inner guidance that has probably gotten you to me and gotten you to my messages and things like that. But my goal is to teach you and empower you to the point that you don't even need me anymore. You know what I mean? Empower you to the point that all of the messages that I communicate to you are either confirmation or, you can even challenge it yourself, because the things that resonate with me are not going to resonate with everybody, So at the end of the day, stop looking to everyone else for the answers and focus on your inner knowing and focus on your inner self-awareness and focus on, that energy that's just like, you know what, my intuition is saying that this is what's right and I'm going to follow that. If you can really hone in on trusting yourself and trusting your intuition, then you will absolutely be able to communicate with the universe in whichever way is best for you. And the last message that I kind of have for you guys is, look, the universe is always conspiring to help you. You just have to pay attention to the signs. At the end of the day, the universe wants you to complete your soul mission. You are a direct expression of God. You are a piece of God consciousness that is trying to express whatever its goal is on this planet. If your goal is to be super athletic, to help as many people as possible, to heal, to teach, to love, to follow, uplift, whatever, you can have whatever your soul mission is on this earth. It could be whatever it is, but the universe is always going to be doing things in order to guide you into the direction of you being able to become your higher self. So the universe is always going to be conspiring to help you. So if you were ever in a situation that you have a perspective of it being negative, then, or you're trying to do something and you're trying everything to get something done and it's not working, or you're in a relationship and you're doing everything in your power in order to make this relationship work, but it just feels like it's just not working, that is a sign that the universe is trying to tell you to go into a different direction. And like I always tell my clients, like I tell everyone, you will receive a message. And if you don't get that message, you'll get a bigger one. And then you'll get a bigger one and you'll get a bigger message. And it'll just keep coming until you move into the direction that you need to move into in order for you to go down the path of becoming your higher self. As you're paying attention to the signs, and once you start following your gut, your intuition, and doing the things that feel in alignment with yourself and with your higher self, things become so much easier. Everything becomes easier. And I teach my clients how to kind of like release control and live in flow. All of those things, you know, I'm capable of teaching you, but at the end of the day, that is what's necessary in order for you to allow the universe to give you the gifts that you deserve. Stop forcing everything. Stop thinking you know better than everybody. Stop thinking that you have all the answers. You don't have all of the answers. You have no idea what it is that your higher self completely looks like. I was telling one of my clients, they're like, I just want to lose 50 pounds so bad. And I'm like, you have to release yourself from that. Yes, you absolutely could say, I want to be healthy. That's fine. You can want to be healthy. You can even say, I want to lose some weight, but stop attaching yourself to a specific goal, because your higher self may not be 50 pounds lighter. Your higher self may only be 20 pounds lighter or 10 pounds lighter. Who's to say? And your higher self may be gorgeous and confident and loved and successful, but not 50 pounds lighter. You have to release yourself from outcomes and allow yourself to move into flow of whatever it feels natural and whatever intuitively feels like you're supposed to be doing. Once you start to do that, then everything in your life becomes so much easier. You know, but it all stems from you trusting yourself. And when you trust yourself, you trust the universe, because remember, the universe is a reflection of you. All right. So that is all I have for that presentation. But of course, I'm going to put in my little plug, child, my little plug. If you want to work with me, please, please, please visit bjtheblogger.com and book a coaching session. Or you can book a free discovery call. It's called a dream assessment, dream life assessment, excuse me. You can book a free call, and that is how you can start doing a coaching service with me, a long-term coaching service with me. So those are your options, but if you want to, you can book just a one-off session. I'm totally available. My books are open. But outside of that, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, because I thought that this was perfect. So I'm so excited to continue doing, completing my content this way. So as usual, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of those great things. If you want to donate, give a little donation. My Cash App is $BJ the Blogger. And I think that's all I have for you guys today. Bye.